Hello, in this video I want to talk about a way that I have of learning my times tables. In fact, I know my times tables, but when I was at school we had a way of learning my times tables that really helped. So the question I get asked from parents a lot of the time is, how do I get my child to learn their times tables facts? And I don't think there is a quick way. I don't think there's a fast track to knowing your times tables fact. I think it takes a lot of practice every single day to get to the point where you can start to recall those facts pretty quickly. And it's really important that they get to the stage where they can do that, because of course maths is like a language. If I went into a French lesson and I hadn't learned my vocabulary, it would make applying the grammar very hard if I kept having to look up every single word that I needed in order to say something. And in maths it's just like that. We've got lots and lots of different laws and methods that we need to use regularly, and if we cannot recall facts such as 3 times 4, which is 12, if we can't recall those automatically, we end up spending a lot of brain power trying to work out those facts, and then we kind of run into risk of forgetting what we were trying to do in the first place, and it really does slow down that process. Anyway, there are lots and lots of different ways you can learn your times tables. There are lots of apps you can get. Just do a quick Google search on apps. That's for practice, and really you need to learn them first. So one of the methods that I did every single day when I was at primary school in juniors, we used to have a piece of square paper and we used to just do a grid just like the one that's on my screen now. And as you can see, I've got a 12 by 12 grid. Now, your child may well know more than they think. So the very first thing I would get them to do once you or they have drawn this grid is to fill out the ones you know. And of course, if I look at the first row going across, that's just 1 multiplied by all of those numbers. So of course, I'm just going to write my multiples of 1 in that row. And to do it quickly, to fill in this grid quickly, well, if you know the multiples of 1 going across, obviously you can fill in the ones going down. And we know those. Now, you might want to ask your child which multiples they feel confident with next. They might find the 2 times table really easy. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And again, I'm just filling these out every single time, 22 and 24. And of course, I should know the ones going down, multiples of 2 going down. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 and 24. And saying them out loud as you do them helps you start remember that sequence of numbers. You might want to ask your child which other multiples they know. They might immediately go to the tens because the tens are nice and easy. So in the tens row, I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100. And as you can see, this method is not at all groundbreaking. I'm going to do the ones going down, 10, 20, 30, 40. I do know that if I talk a lot, I might make a mistake, which we don't really want to do, not in this video anyway. You might want to ask your child which ones they feel comfortable with next. Some children really like the 11s because they're nice and easy as well. There's 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99, and then 110. And then we have to be a little bit careful here. I can add on 11 if I'm not sure. And again, I can add on 11 if I'm not sure. And we'll get those ones going down as well. So we're filling up the grid pretty quickly by doing each multiple twice. 77, 88, 99, then 110, 121 and 132. The 5 times table is nice and easy. A lot of children like that. That's one of my favourites. So I'm going to fill in that row next. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And when you get to this stage, you can say, well, actually, you know an awful lot more than you probably thought. I'm going to do the ones going down on the 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 and 60. And this is where it gets interesting, because for every single child it's going to be different which times tables they feel confident with and which ones they struggle with. But the very first time you do this, I want you to ask them again, which ones do you next feel confident with? Well, they might feel confident with smaller numbers, such as the 3 or the 4 times table. So if we go along in the 3s, just keep on prompting them that all they're doing is adding on 3 each time. So 3, 6, 9, 12, and get them to say it out as they're doing it. 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33 and 36. And if I do the ones going down the 3s as well, I can see that some have already been filled out for me. So I've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. I've got 30, 33 and then 36. The 4 times table is fairly nice as well. Now, if your child is struggling, remind them that all they're doing is counting on each time by the number that is that you're finding the multiples for. So I've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And you'd be amazed that some pupils just don't appreciate that all you do, for example, is just counting up in 4s each time. Just encourage them to count up in that number. And if I do my 4s going down, I really have gone a very long way actually. So I've gone all the way to 4 times 5, which is 20. Adding on 4 is 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44 and 48. And as you can see, the 12s are starting to fill up themselves. Now again, ask your child, which ones would you like to fill up next? Which do you feel confident doing next? And they might say the 9s. 9 is nice and easy. You could encourage them to add on 10 and jump back 1. Or they might have a little method on their fingers that they could show you that maybe they've learnt at school or learnt from one of their friends. So we're up to 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. Add on 10, which is 55, and jump back 1, which is 54. Add on 10, 64, jump back 1 is 63. Add on 10 is 73, jump back 1 is 72. And then we've got 81, 90, 99, add on 10, 109, and jump back 1, which is 108. I'll do the 9s going down as well. So I'm up to 9 5s, which is 45, and then I've got 54. I've got 63. And 72. Encourage your child to spot their own patterns. We've got 81, 90, 99, and then 108. And this is what we find are usually the most tricky to remember. Now, we usually get to this stage here where these blanks, as you can see, these are the most tricky ones, and they're the ones that you really need to focus on when you're doing your practice. So if they get to a stage where they stop and they say, well, I don't really know anymore, highlight those ones in. Just to remind your child that these are the ones, and you, that these are the ones you really, really need to focus on and learn. So I'm going to highlight those little areas there. Okay, and in a different colour, we'll just pop the answers down to those. So counting in 6s, I've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. And then we add on 6 to make 42, and then 6 8s are 48. That one rhymes. And any that they're struggling with, any that you really think, right, we've got to learn, we've got to focus on these, because all the others, everything else that you've written down so far, hopefully, they already knew. So 6 times 6 is 36. Students don't tend to struggle with that one, but 6 times 7 is 42. And 6 8s are 48, that one rhymes. That's how I always remembered that. Those two are usually the ones that children just can't remember. They find it much more difficult to remember those. And then again, we've got right at the end there, we've got 6 12s are 72. And then we've got the 7. Well, I could do the 6s going down now, couldn't I? So I've got 36, 42, 48. And then we've got 72. We've just written those ones down. We don't need to write any more, apart from, of course, 6 times 12. We'll write that one down, which is 72. And let's have a look at some more. Let's have a look at the multiples of 7 going across now. So 7 7s are 49, and 7 8s are 56. Now, that is one that usually students really struggle with. So 7 7s are 49. They tend to remember that one. But 7 8s are 56. That one is the one that adults and children really struggle to remember. Maybe because it only comes up once in all of those times tables. It's just 7 8s or 8 7s. And of course, I didn't do 12 times 7, which is 84. And I mustn't forget to fill that one in. So 7 lots of 12 is 84. Okay, and then we've got 8 eighths, which is 64. I'm going to write that one down. 8 times 8 is 64. And then just going across to the 12s. So we've got 88 and then we've got 96. I always used to find that one quite hard to remember. I don't really know why. And 8 times 12 is 96. And if I just do that down there, and one right at the end, 12 12s is 144. Again, children sometimes remember that one. They don't seem to find that one particularly difficult to remember. But those ones that I've highlighted in blue can be the ones that children really struggle with. However, you're going to make your own list. You're going to highlight your own ones in the grid for your children to focus on. And that list of the ones to focus on, they're the ones. Keep asking them at breakfast. Write it on a whiteboard or on your kitchen, on your kitchen wall or something like that. All the ones that they need to know, and get those facts written down on a post-it note or something, and let them have that in their room to look at and practice. So I hope that gave you a little bit of insight into, a daily way, something that's really easy on paper. I strongly agree that writing things down on paper can help that process of putting things into your long-term memory. I really, really do. And I hope that gives you something that you could work on every single day, if possible. Okay, that's me done with for now. If you've got any questions, please leave them underneath in the comments or on my Facebook wall. Thanks ever so much. Bye-bye.